Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, where it's all about creating the life you want, the business you want, and making a real difference. Join us in unlocking the code to true success. And now your host, Tony Caliendo, Master Coach with Rethink Coaching.
Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, episode number 72. I'm Tony Caliendo, Master Coach here at Rethink Coaching. And as always, I just want to take a moment to thank you for sharing your time with me. Time really is our most valuable asset, and the fact that you are willing to share your time with me truly does mean a great deal. So I want to talk today about your level of commitment. And I asked, are you a 10? And I think that can conjure up different kinds of meanings for people. But what I really want to ask you is, as we continue to move into the new year, for those of you who are going to be listening to this, it should be middle of January when you hear this, is we set a goal for this upcoming year. And we set that goal. And if this is the year that you make the decision, draw the line in the sand, that you are not going to miss the goal, that the goal is non-negotiable, are you playing at a level 10 commitment towards that goal and your future? And I know some of you want to maybe answer that question before you even really know what a level 10 looks like for you. So I want to start with this and just say, first of all, when you start thinking about what does a level 10 mean for you, I do not want you to jump to comparison land. Unless you are comparing your business, your leadership, your sales ability to someone that you aspire to be like, a mentor, someone who you have such high regard for in your industry, somebody that you know has set the bar really high, and that bar is where you want to go. That for me is a great time for comparison, because what it does is it just really shows you that it's possible. And if they can do it, so can you. It's important that we start with this discussion about what's a level 10 commitment for you. It's different for different people. Are you working at a state of maximum effort? Are you positive, staying focused on your goals and responsibilities? What does this look like for you? Is it based upon completing certain activities, achieving a certain result daily? Does it look like it needs to happen regardless of what's happening externally in our world? Those are really important questions for you to ask yourself about what is a level 10 commitment for you. For me, I didn't realize this until recently, matter of fact, last week, where this came from for me. And when I really did a deep dive on this, it made a lot of sense. I've always known my level 10 has been, if I tell you I'm going to show up and do something, I'm going to show up and do it, period. Unless major tragedy happens, I'm going to be there. And an example of this, so in my 14 years of coaching, over 6,000 hours of one-on-one coaching, I've only canceled on my clients one time. And that was when I was in cardiac intensive care back in 2017. In fact, January, I'm coming up on my anniversary here pretty quick. And, they frowned pretty heavily on me whipping out my computer and headset to take coaching calls in the intensive care unit. So I had to actually cancel. I got back on track the next week, really with some frustration from my physicians, but that's how I show up. And last week, I caught some virus. I don't know what was going on. And I was running a fever between 101 and 103. Well, it was our first week back to coaching since holiday break. I could not, this is me, I could not cancel on my clients again. I couldn't. We'd taken a break. We all committed to show up this week. We all committed to show up with great numbers, great results, actions and results. And by gosh, I was going to show up. In addition, I was launching a group coaching program, and the first session was that week. I coached last week with 102-degree fever. Now, I was popping medicine, getting it down as low as I could, so I was coherent for the coaching calls. But what I will tell you is because my level of commitment is at a level 10, it's a weird thing that happens. It's a mind shift, mind over matter. And I was able to show up. I rescheduled one person to next week. The rest of my clients all got calls last week, and the group call happened. Now, I'm not saying this as a look at me, look at me. I'm just saying that I know crystal clear what my level 10 commitment looks like. And I realized when I was taking notes and formulating this podcast, that came from and was embedded and ingrained in me from watching my mom and dad. My mom was a nurse. My dad was a pharmacist. My dad owned his own pharmacy, was part of a partnership that owned a small chain of drugstores in Omaha, Nebraska. And they both had jobs where people were dependent upon them. My mom was a neonatal nurse, NICU, and she was labor and delivery for a while. So, I mean, she played an integral role. And if she missed as head or charge nurse, there was a huge void for her fellow peers to step in. My dad, if he didn't show up, he didn't really have anybody else to call. So I watched them both numerous times get out of bed, shake it off, get in the shower, get dressed, and went to work. That is just part of my level 10. I am wanting to make this very crystal clear to people. If that is not you, that's okay. Yet I know for me, that's my level 10. External circumstances are not going to interfere with my commitment to show up to my clients. Another example of this was back when I lived in Dallas, and I was a franchise owner at the time, and I officed out of our office while we had a fire. And it was just chaos. And I somehow managed to sneak off to the parking garage and zip around the fire truck, even though they were trying to tell me to stop, because I had a client I had to get on the phone with. And I pulled over and I coached for the rest of the afternoon from my car. I refuse to allow external circumstances to impact my level 10, my commitment of showing up. So I would invite you to sit with and define what's your level 10. What does it really look like? What is it in those moments that there was a lot of stuff going on that you could have easily said, forget it, but you chose to continue to move forward? Get really clear with that, because we need to know that level 10, because if we're going to get to 100% of our goal, we must show up at a level 10 at all times. Now, stuff happens. I get that. Sometimes there's bigger things than us that happen. Yet, when we're clear on our level 10, it truly is amazing the impact it makes on your ability to go into a place. You know, I go into a place, I was running a fever, yet I went to a place where I was coherent. I was able to connect. I was able to function. And then when the calls were over and the end of the day, I was crashed. Know your level 10. Get intimately familiar with your level 10, because that is going to be one of the key tools to get you to your goal. There's always going to be adversity and external circumstances, and we need to be able to embrace the uncertainty, facing the inevitable setbacks and challenges that are out of our control. I can't think of a better and more powerful example, as sad as it is right now, is that in the United States, we are dealing with horrific forest fires in the state of California that is wiping out communities, Pacific Palisades, Malibu. Several areas in the LA area are being completely decimated. People are losing their homes, businesses are being wiped out. And that is what I would consider adverse and external. Nothing we could plan for, nothing that we can control. And if I were a functioning real estate agent, meaning an active licensed agent, which I am in California, and I was selling at a high level, a lot of stuff has just happened. There's no homes to sell. Inventory has been impacted. There's a national disaster going on. And I could choose, if I wasn't playing at a level 10, to just step back and wait. My level 10 doesn't allow that. I would position myself to help as many people as I could. Who can I help that needs to relocate? How can I get them into temporary housing? How can I secure leasing? How can I help somebody if they just want to move, they're done and they want to go somewhere else, refer them to an agent within my network? My level 10 takes a look at what's happening and gets a strategy in place. It may be a different strategy than I had originally planned to get to my goal, because those poor agents in California were not planning on their inventory being wiped out. So you have to dig into your tenacity, your level 10 commitment, and cultivate resilience that no matter what, you are going to show up. These challenges are opportunities. You can either look at it as the challenges and have it shut you down, or you can look at it that it's a challenge that you're willing to step into and work through and get to the other side. You cannot do that if you don't know what it looks like for you to show up as a level 10. The third thing is there is a consequence to skipping days. I know we sometimes will be like, I'll just do it tomorrow, right? And here's the thing. Skipping a day or two or three can accumulate and actually adversely affect your overall progress. There's this thing called compound, right? Gradually and suddenly. Gradually, I skipped a day or two. Suddenly, I was really behind on my goal. Gradually, I chose not to do my lead generation because of X, something's going on. Suddenly, I'm really behind in goal and I have no income right now. So there is a consequence to skipping even one day. It takes you out of momentum. I think that's probably the most important thing, to show up at a level 10 and push through and not allow yourself to skip a day is really, really important, because skipping the day does something to your brain. It's saying, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and honor that you wanted to skip. I'm going to go ahead and skip. And it gives you permission to do it again and again and again. So you really want to make sure that you're aware that skipping even one day can have a ripple effect on your ability to get to goal. I know for me, staying in momentum is really important. I think that's part of the reason why last week I showed up and coached, because it keeps me in momentum. I'd already taken 3 weeks off of one-on-one coaching and was so excited about getting back into it and getting into that rhythm and getting back into that momentum that missing a day or two last week would have put me behind even further. And that to me was just not an option. The other part of this not skipping a day is making sure that you've got habits and systems in place. So if you're moving towards a goal this year that you've never achieved, and it's requiring you to show up a little bit differently, just know that it takes approximately 66 days to form a habit. And you know when a habit is formed for you, when you do miss it, you feel off. It's like, oh my gosh, something's missing today. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot to do X, and we go and we do it. So build those really powerful routines and habits. It takes about 6 to 6 days to form and about 2 days to destroy the habit. It's easier to undo a habit than it is to form one. So do your best to pay attention to not skipping a day, having habits and systems in place to support you. Number 4, techniques that you want to use to maintain high performance on low motivation days. Motivation and commitment are not the same thing, yet motivation can impact your commitment. And sometimes our motivation may escape us. Let's be honest, we're all human beings. There are just some days where our motivation is a little low. I always laugh to myself when a client calls me and says, I lost my motivation. Well, it's not a pen that you lost somewhere. It lives within you. And so you didn't really lose it, right? Like this pen, if I dropped it somewhere and lost it, I lost the pen. Motivation lives within me. I can't lose it. I can choose to allow it to diminish. So pay attention to your motivation. And on the days when the motivation is pulling down your level 10 to a level 9, 8, 7, 6, or 5, or even a 0 on your commitment. What I'd recommend doing when you're having those days, you can't just ignore it. I mean, you could, but you know how I feel about the impact of your thoughts on results. If you don't know, go listen to the podcast Thoughts Drive All Results. I think it was episode 70 or 69. Pause, just pause, and collect your thoughts around why you're doing this. Like sometimes we get so in the muck about I have to do this task, got to do this task, and we forget to connect it to the reason why we're doing it. You know, people call it your big why, whatever you want to call it, but really think about what's the impact. Like when I achieve the goal I've set for myself, for Rethink Coaching, my other companies, in December 2025, I know what the impact is going to be. I know what joy is going to come from achieving that goal. And when my motivation is waning a little, I tap into that. So on those days that I have that happen, and I do have it happen, I really do just sit with, what does this look like for me in the future? What is the reason why I'm doing this? Who is being impacted? Who are my family, friends, any of the charities that I support? What's the bigger impact? And what does this look like when the goal is achieved? And allow yourself to sit and bask in that positive energy. That can help you boost your motivation back up. And that's really what we're after. You don't lose it. It's just waning a little bit. The other thing I would highly encourage you to do, get a coach. They can help you maintain your high performance even on low motivation days. You know, for myself, I coach business and thought strategy. So there's a lot of techniques that I have that I share with my clients that help them, just like what I'm sharing with you today, on what to do when your motivation is waning and it's impacting your ability to perform. The other thing is just set a benchmark for the day. Sometimes we get so tied up in the bigger goal, like what we have to do for the week. Just focus on that day. That's it. And if I do that goal for that day, for that moment, so for me, coffee is a big motivator. I know that may seem really probably not all the healthiest thing in the world, yet I do not allow myself to have a cup of coffee until I've journaled. I have coffee throughout the day, and I will find myself wanting to go get a cup of coffee, which is a distraction from doing what I need to do. And I will stop myself and say, you can get your next cup of coffee when you do this. So I set little rewards for myself and play games. And really that does help tremendously in keeping me more motivated and focusing on those higher performance activities. It's really mindset. The fifth thing is mindset, shifting mindset and viewing the challenges that you're experiencing as opportunities. Just really know that what you're experiencing is really driven from your current mindset or thoughts. Again, thoughts drive all results, and mindset really is just a form of thought. So this may be, again, the time where you really do focus now, maybe not on just the task, but you focus on the end of the day. So, you know, a cup of coffee for me for doing the task is great. It keeps me focused, and it really does motivate me because I love coffee. And I'm cold all the time, so coffee helps warm me up. So I will go from shifting from what I talked about with the little motivational thing of, if I do this, I can go get a cup of coffee, to now shifting to my mindset to just a little bit bigger, and think about it as, what do I get to do at the end of the day when I accomplish my goal for the day? And allow yourself to experience that joy in seeing yourself at 5 p.m., reviewing your day, and appreciation of yourself that you just did it, that you showed up at a level 10, even when there were things that you were fighting you and you were fighting back. It just is called life, team. I like to gamify it. And so for me, when I have, again, those moments, coffee's not just enough. Coffee's enough sometimes for that strategy action at 10 o'clock in the morning. But the bigger game of the day, I like to gamify. And I will give myself, a prize at the end of the day for achieving and showing up at a level 10. Now, it can't be a Cartier bracelet or a Bentley every time. However, I do make it something that would be meaningful for me. I might call a friend and set up a happy hour and say, hey, listen, I've got a really powerful day. I'm going to reward myself with happy hour with you. I'm going to text you at 5 o'clock and let you know if we're on or not. And now I got a little accountability from them. I don't want to let them down, and I can look forward to it. Maybe it's going and getting a chair massage. Maybe it's a manicure pedicure. Maybe it's just to go window shopping at your favorite store. Maybe it's to go window shopping at a car dealership. Whatever it is, I like to gamify and to help me get through that day and know that I'm going to reward myself for positive behavior. If I don't hit the goal, I'm not going to happy hour. I'm not getting the manicure pedicure. I'm not doing the massage. I cannot reward myself if I don't achieve the goal. That's not level 10 behavior. So pay attention to your mindset. The thing I want to say about this that's really important for those of us in sales, we can start negotiating our way out of a level 10 day the moment we open our eyes. I've done it a million times. Open my eyes, it's 25 degrees out. I don't really need to go work out this morning. I mean, if I just waited until noon, the sun will be out. It might be 30 degrees, but the sun in New Mexico is so warm. I'll just wait until noon. And we start negotiating our way out of a level 10. I know if I don't do what I need to do in the morning, I'm not going to the gym at noon. I'm not going at 3. I'm not going at 5. I know I'm not going to do it, but I'm selling myself on this lie that I'll just do it later. So we tend to start negotiating with ourselves the second our eyes open. You know, that really difficult client, I'm not going to call them. I'll wait to the end of the day, see if they call me. If they don't, then they've maybe figured things out on their own. You know, we start this game. Make sure you have healthy thoughts in the morning when you first open your eyes. Whether it's gratitude, whether it's, if you know what your level 10 is, to just reaffirm to yourself that morning that today's a level 10 day. And level 10 looks like this, and this is how I'm going to choose to show up. Get out of bed and go get it. So in review, number 1, what's level 10 for you? Number 2, know that you're going to have to navigate adversity and external challenges. Just that's called life, and develop resilience to the challenges that show up. Number 3, be really clear of the consequences of skipping a day. It's a compound effect. It's not just skipping a day. It's going to compound and snowball on you. 4th thing, have a technique in place to maintain high performance on low motivation days. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I wish I could tell you it wasn't. I wish I had a secret to fix that we never have a low motivation day, but we do. Number 5, mindset shift. Just view challenges as opportunities and figure out your system. Little rewards, big rewards. What are you going to do to keep yourself seeing that challenge as an opportunity and gamify it that you're going to win? At the end of the day, is the challenge going to win, or are you going to win? And if you are a typical salesperson, like most of you are, you're not going to let the challenge win. We are highly motivated by winning. And when we can position that as is the challenge going to win, or am I going to win? It changes everything. It changes how you get to show up, and then a reward for yourself at the end of the day for doing the work. Team, as always, I'm here for you. If you need anything, please reach out to me, Tony@rethinkcoaching.com. You can find me on all of the social media outlets. Email me, Tony@rethinkcoaching.com. I do want to say we have got some really amazing group coaching programs going on right now. One of my favorite is Rise, which is a 6-week program that helps you gain even more clarity on the one big goal that maybe has been eluding you, and taking you through a 6-week journey of getting your business and your thoughts in alignment so that there is no way you're going to miss hitting that goal at the end of the year. Information about that's on our website. It's Rise Group Coaching Program. Would love to see you guys there. And as always, reach out to me if you need anything. Happy to help any way I can. We will see you next week. Cheers to happiness and health as we move forward, team. Thanks so much. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you must come check out the Mindset Architect Group Coaching Program. It's our monthly program where we explore the power of your mindset, help you identify what you truly want in business and life, and then help you reach those goals. come check us out at rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. That's rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. We'll see you there.